Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, and of course hockey. We love interviewing hockey players on our show. We love interviewing hockey prospects. We're going to snap our fingers and the NHL draft's going to be right there. But before that, we can talk to some players about their junior career thus far. And we're talking to centerman on the Guelph Storm of the Ontario Hockey League. We're talking to Cam Hillis. Cam, welcome to Popternative.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. A little bit of an icebreaker. A lot of hockey players say that they always wanted to be a hockey player. They've always wanted to play. Was there kind of a time in your hockey career where it got more serious? Like, did it pick up at Adam, Pee Wee, Bantam? Was it a bit later? Like, when did you kind of decide that this is what you wanted to do?
I think I kind of developed a passion for hockey right from the beginning, right from the get-go. I think ever since my dad was making the backyard rink, we'd be out there for hours till late at night. So I think right from the early start, I think I developed a strong passion for it. But I think it grew over the years just from playing at a higher level and playing against tougher competition. I think that's where I benefited most and grew to love the game more.
A lot of hockey fans, a lot of bloggers, a lot of scouts watch Popternative. They watch the OHL closely. But for people that maybe don't know, who is Cam Hillis on the ice and who is Cam Hillis off the ice?
Yeah, I think on the ice I'm a two-way playmaker. I think I pride myself on my high compete level and playing the game the right way, strong on forecheck, tenacious. Off the ice, I'd say I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Pretty competitive kid and hates to lose.
What do you think is looking at your season this year, almost like pretty much like a point per game and kind of being able to be a bigger name in the Ontario Hockey League, and it's, your draft year coming up. What have been some of the kind of, I wouldn't say challenges or obstacles, but what have been some things that you've had to kind of take on this season that were kind of a bit hard this season compared to last season for you?
Yeah, I think coming in this year, I played prep school hockey last year at St. Andrews College, so I developed there as my first year as a 16-year-old. So coming into the league, I knew it was going to be a step up. The pace is going to be a lot faster. So just sticking to my game and playing the right way the first 15 games or so, just to kind of get my feet wet, doing the right things. I think I kind of benefited from our coaching staff and the players that have been through it before, kind of building off of what they've done in the past and just kind of creating the experience in the league and getting stronger and faster as the season goes along. So I think I've done all right so far about that.
Absolutely. Success is measured in a lot of different ways. How does Cam Hillis measure success when it comes to his game and growing as a player?
I think you always want to be pushing yourself. I think coming to the rink every day and with that positive attitude and wanting to get better. I think that's the most important thing. This is a long season and it's your draft year too, so it only comes around once and you want to make the most of it. So just coming to the rink every day and pushing yourself and trying to get better.
So you mentioned the NHL draft. You got to be part of the top prospects game. Yeah. How was that experience? And take us through kind of when you found out you were going to be part of that game.
I got a phone call from my coach and GM George Burnett a couple days before the event started that I've been named to the team. And I'll be honest with you, that was one of my things that I kind of checked off my list coming into this year for my goals this year. So I was pretty excited about it. Anytime you get to play against the top competition and the top prospects worldwide are in the CHL. So it was a lot of fun, playing on a line with Akil Thomas and Ty Delandria. So we gelled pretty well and had a pretty good game.
How would you also describe, you said, you played prep school. What was the preparation like to jump into the OHL from that experience? Was it kind of difficult? Was the transition a little easier than you thought it was going to be?
I think I had a good summer of training, so I prepared myself well coming into the league. But I obviously knew there was going to be an adjustment from the start. Anytime, especially as a 17-year-old coming into the league. Just just getting constant feedback from the coaches and, players that have gone through it before, just to kind of help me out along the way. But once I got my feet wet, I think I've, made a pretty good impact in the league so far.
You're a centerman. Center is a position that is always especially in the NHL is always after goaltending. It's always quite like a big question, especially in the playoffs, because we know how important it is to be a solid center in the National Hockey League. And so do you find that there's a lot of kind of indirect pressure that from people watching the game, from towards centermen, because it is kind of a very important position, winning draws, being able to play the power play, being able to obviously make plays and score and back check. Like, it is do you find that the label of it being a very important pressure forward spot, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think it's just the nature of the game, though. I mean, you kind of know your responsibilities as a centerman. You got to be strong, on the D side of the puck and the offensive side of the puck too. So there's a lot of responsibilities that come with it, but I think that's kind of what you're cut out for, and you want to keep pushing to become the best player you can be.
You're an NHL prospect that's essentially doing a lot of things on the ice to prepare. You're getting bigger, you're getting faster and stronger. I'm pretty sure that's kind of the answer at the combine interviews, that players and the same questions asked, and they just answer, how did you prepare for this? Wanted to get bigger, faster, stronger all season. I feel like everyone's gonna say that. But what I find interesting too is you're on Pop Turnative, you're doing an interview with me right now, but this is almost preparation too, because you're going to be doing this a lot. It's like hockey players, even in junior hockey, we the Guelph Storm, I'm sure there is, but doing interviews is a big part of the job. How do you kind of tackle interviews, and do you think do hockey players see it as an important part of the job? Over the years, especially with social media being a big part of junior hockey? What do you think about the interview process?
I don't think too much of it, actually. I think when we're in the league, we come into the league and you're kind of taught how to act as a pro and live the lifestyle as a pro. So I think you also with social media, like you said, you're watching guys every day do interviews, so you pick up little tidbits on what they do to look as a pro and perform off the ice as a pro. So I think just kind of learning every day, focusing on the good things that people we talk about, staying positive and things like that. So I think it's definitely become more with social media and more part of the game now. So
skill seems to be the component in a hockey player that seems to be the make it or break it. If you have skill, you will be a very good hockey player. That's what they say. Size, has to do with it, but you see players like Johnny Gaudreau who are smaller that are doing very well in the NHL. And I just wanted to hear your opinion of it, because the OHL and the CHL in general, you saw at the top prospects game, the skill is unbelievable, and every year it's getting better and better, and you see it in the NHL as well. So talk a little bit about, I'm just curious to talk to a centerman that plays in the OHL. Do you ever go into games and you're playing and you're just on the bench after a shift, be like, wow, this guy's amazing? How it can be seen also as a lot challenging to play, because there's so many skilled players like yourself that you have to compete with every day throughout the season, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the game's kind of going more to that speed and skill type of era now. So I think that's more of a good thing. More of the smaller type players like myself can kind of fit into the game, grow the game a little more too. And I think, guys that I've kind of watched growing up, like Joe Pavelski, I mean, to see him do so well in the league and push that kind of culture forward for the league is a good thing to see.
Do you still think, because Cam, when people ask players like yourself, who did you model your game after growing up, or who was your biggest influence player wise? Do you still think that people? I don't think Cam Hillis ever modeled his game. You want to be Cam Hillis, you want to be your own player. But were there some players that you kind of looked up to growing up more than others?
Yeah, I think nowadays, in the younger generation of hockey now, I think I'm watching more of the smaller type players that are doing well, like Matt Barzal and Mitch Marner and Braden Point. You see how skilled and how fast they play the game. I think that's something I really try to model my game after.
What has been kind of the coolest moment of your hockey career thus far? I mean, there's a lot more to come, but is there something that you have been a part of that you will cherish for like the rest of your hockey career so far?
Yeah, I definitely say that my minor midget year for the York Simcoe Express, we had a pretty good team. We won the OMHA's Silver Stick and the OHL Cup final, so we kind of won the Triple Crown there and surprised a lot of people. So it was definitely the most memorable year of my hockey career so far.
And we're a few months into 2018. What could we expect from Cam Hillis in 2018? I mean, we're seeing you're having a great season so far in the OHL. I mean, you're out with a little bit of an injury right now, but you'll be back soon. But what has 2018 been like for you so far?
It's definitely been an exciting year so far. I think I got a lot more to prove in myself. But first and foremost, I think coming down the last stretch here, you want to help your team do the best you can in the playoffs, and we want to surprise a lot of teams in the playoffs coming up this year. But obviously, it's a big year with the draft, and you want to do as well as you can in the draft. But I think the draft doesn't define you as a player. There's a lot more that goes on in the next little while here in your hockey career. So I think just enjoying the ride and seeing what's in store here.
You're not. I don't think you're going to disagree, but obviously you want to be focused. You're focused on your season at hand, but I mean, it's impossible for you not to think about the draft in a day or a week. Like it's gonna be in the back of your mind, and I think it's good because it's the motivation that you need. But do you agree with that statement? I'm sure every player looking to get drafted. I mean, not a day goes by, even if they're in the OHL or even if they're playing, representing Canada in a national tournament. I mean, there's going to be that in the back of your mind, and that's an okay thing, right?
Yeah, I think with social media nowadays, I think for sure that it's kind of hard to avoid now. But like you said, you use it as a little bit of motivation, climb the ranks as much as you can. But I think kind of going back to what I said before, I think it's more so just kind of worrying about yourself. You know yourself more than anyone else does. So I think just coming to the rink every day with that positive mentality and how you can get better and really focusing on that.
We talked a lot about stuff, hockey on the ice. It's not a little bit of fun. Like, what have you been like? Let's talk about pop culture. What have you been watching? What have you been listening to? What is there anything? Any cool trends in the Guelph Storm locker room? Like, is there a song or a show you're all watching? Anything you could share?
I wouldn't really say there's too many trends going on in our team, but I think we've kind of grown closer as a team the last little bit. I think we're in a little bit of a slump right now, and just kind of we did a little bit of family or team bonding the last little week there, going to an escape room. So I think just kind of getting out of our slump and getting ready for playoffs coming up is going to be important for us.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll wrap up soon, but Cam, thank you so much for joining us on the ride. We've wanted to do this for quite some time, so I'm glad we were able to get you on here. And where can people follow you on social media? What are your handles?
My Instagram is __Chillis, and my Twitter is Cam_Hillis.
So do people ever call you like Chill, or do people ever say like, yo, chill, man? Has that ever happened?
Most people call me like Chili or Chillis sometimes.
Chili. And that's another thing too. You mentioned a little bit like social media, but like as a double-edged sword, there's good and bad about it. But there's going to be moments, and you look at players that played in the World Junior Hockey Championship a couple of years ago. They actually like were. I think Hockey Canada made a policy they weren't allowed to bring their phones with them, or they weren't allowed to look at their phones, or the team actually agreed to ban social media, right? And you look at the Olympics and everything, but it's like the thing about the NHL draft in the back of your mind. It's there. It's kind of hard to ignore, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was part of the U17 tournament with Team Canada, so I know they took our phones away and kind of eliminated that distraction. So I agree with it in that sense, but like you said, it's kind of hard to avoid nowadays.
Absolutely. Well, Cam, thank you for joining us, and all the best for the rest of the year, and good luck in the NHL draft.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes Popternative, YouTube for the video versions, and audio for audio versions. Anywhere you listen to the podcast, we're there. Libsyn, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. So until next time, this is Cam Hillis and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter